Happy Monday, family. How are you guys? It's good to be on here talking about food stuff. Haven't talked about this in a little bit, so I'm excited to talk about it. So, for those of you who are new to my live stream, hello, my name is Shakti, and I am an online health and fitness coach. And I also talk a lot about sovereignty and metaphysical stuff. And I actually just updated my YouTube channel to be about health and sovereignty because that's really what I talk about all the time. How to help you be more free in your body, in your mind, and all the things. Like that's my ideal work, is to help you do that. So as you're saying hi, please chat me as you're joining. As you're saying hi, as you're hopping on, say hi. If you're watching the replay, say hi so I can say hi to you. So every week back up. So you know that I run online fitness and nutrition groups, and right now I have one that's specifically about food and food mindset. And we're going through this food program, and the program is designed to help people that have a unhealthy relationship to food or are living in diet mentality, interrupt the diet mentality, change the way they look at food, and create a healthy relationship to food that is not based on guilt or shame or obsessive thinking, but is based on making choices that are appropriate for whatever the circumstance is. And sometimes the choice is you're at a birthday party, you're at a wedding, you're at an event, and you're going to have the dessert and you're going to enjoy the things that come with the experience, like holiday treats, etc. And then sometimes the choices are you have a particular physical goal or you have a particular health goal, so you're going to eat according to that goal, right? So the point of this program is not to take foods away from you. It's not to restrict you. It's to teach you how to make choices and how to have an empowered relationship to food. That was the whole point of the group. So every week I send a message out individually to all the members of the groups, and I'm checking in with them, and I'm like, hey, how's the group going? And how is the material being processed? Are you struggling with something? Do you need support with something? Do you need help? And even though we have a group thread and members are encouraged to comment in the group thread, sometimes you want to talk about stuff privately. Sometimes you don't want to talk about things, in a group setting. And I understand that. Some people who join the group are not necessarily group people, so they prefer to talk one-on-one. So that's why I will send the message and I will start that conversation in case someone needs more of that one-on-one support. So one of my clients said something really interesting to me. She was like, the other day, and let me rewind for a second. This is one of my clients who came to me from a very strong diet mentality background. So this is someone who has done programs in the past, call it like this, programs. And the programs were diet restrictive. I mean, the programs were all about restricting food and restricting calories and not eating, basically, which is what most diets do, period. And she said, she was telling me what she ate on a specific day. And she's like, I was so full the whole day. And I caught myself thinking, well, I'm so full. I ate like trash today. But then when she looked back on her journal of what she had eaten, so tracking is a part of this program, and tracking what you're eating and when you're eating it so you understand the relationship that you have to food and the reason you're making certain decisions. She was like, but I ate well the whole day. Like, even though I felt full, my mind immediately said you ate like trash today, but when I was looking over what I had eaten, it had actually been very nourishing food. And I said, how interesting. You associate feeling full with eating like trash. Fascinating, which means you associate starving with health. She had never noticed that before, but that's truly the tape that she had about health and about food. And what I know now, because of years of looking at my own food story and picking it apart, is that you can absolutely feel very well nourished and satisfied and full and have eaten extremely well the entire day. Like, those two things can exist together. But when you're coming from a background where you're in the diet world, you are encouraged to feel hungry all of the time. That's the mentality, right? And if you do feel full, it's because you derailed and ate like trash. And what's interesting is this same client will come to me with questions like, for example, she was making a stew and she wanted to know how much of the stew she could have in a day. And it was like such a clean stew. It was very, very clean. You know, it's like, eat as much as you feel comfortable eating. Like when you eat it and you're not hungry anymore, stop eating. And she was like, really? I was like, yeah, like that's really, right? But what this shows me is how much of that disassociation or maybe compartmentalizing we are doing with food. Like we see as food as something that has to be so strongly regulated instead of a relationship that has to be built. And the more work I do on myself and the more I help other people kind of pull apart those food stories, the more I realize that becoming free of your food story is probably one of the most valuable things you could do your entire life. Because I think probably the place I see the most shame come up, especially because I work primarily with women, so I'm going to talk about women, is around their relationship to body and food. And, you know, saying things like, oh, I wish I didn't have to think about food. Okay, I used to say that too. But the reality is I love food. But I was saying that because thinking about food or thinking about feeding myself made me so anxious because I didn't have another point of reference for food that wasn't full of anxiety and pain, suffering, basically. Now that I know there's another way to exist, I don't have that feeling. I'm like, yay, I'm excited about food. I get to eat food and I get to experience all kinds of food. I don't have that same anxiety that I used to have. And I don't say that anymore because my mindset is completely different. So if you're watching this and you're someone who has associated that feeling of fullness with like, oh, I've eaten like trash, like that is a side effect of being stuck in that diet mentality world. And yes, it can be different. You don't have to live in that world. But one of the things I love the most about being in a group environment and observing these thoughts with other people and going through this kind of structure day by day is you get to really see how your mind operates. You get to see what it is that you actually think about food. What do you actually think about your habits? What do you actually think? And I don't think until some people enter this kind of an environment where we're all slowing down the tape and kind of like looking at what we're doing, we don't even realize that we're having those thoughts, and we don't even realize that we are approaching our life in that way, in that very restricted way or very negative way, pessimistic way. So hopefully this was helpful to you when it comes to your story with food. And if you have experienced something like this, or you've caught yourself in the middle of a story like this, share it below. If you're watching a replay, share it with us so that I can see the story and I can maybe help you process it in the comments of this video. But no, you are not alone. And if you do need the support, the group already started, but you're welcome to join us. There's no really start and stop time for this group just because of the way the program is structured. So if you need the help, come on in. I'm happy to help you to know what's required to join the group and to help you get started. But it's in that actual group environment that because everybody's doing the same thing together, there's that freedom of like, I'm not going to be judged because we're all doing the same thing together, including myself. Like I'm very transparent in my groups. Like when I run groups with clients, it's not just about them, it's also about me, and it's about my journey and whatever I'm specifically going through. So I'm happy to unpack my own stuff alongside you guys and do it with you. All right. That is my message for you this Monday. I hope you guys have an awesome Monday, and stay well, stay healthy, move your body, breathe fresh air, and be kind to yourself and the other people in your space. All right. Chat with you guys soon. Bye.